Hi, just want to show you through a couple of the CRM user stories and give you a bit of a hand to test these. We're working through this UAT test document, which is where we will be having the stories that we'll complete. So I'll just walk you through some of them just so you can get an idea and can help you with your testing. So first off, this first story here, I need to be able to distinguish between distribution center customers and direct-to-store customers. This one's nice and easy. So from within CRM, just open an account. Here I've got Fresh Choice Maryvale, which is just demonstration data at the moment. And from within the account form, you can see there's a type value, and this is currently set to direct-to-store. So you can see there's another option for distribution centres. So depending upon whether it's progressives or foodstuffs or whatever it is, it'll be set to type, and you can find it from on the account form. You could also create a separate view for it. If you want to indicate the preferred visit days or time for a customer, this is just for information for new sales reps that come on. If you happen to leave the organisation, you can jump in again to an account, just double click on it, open up the account, and then down the bottom you'll see here under preferences, if you just open that tab, you can see some core preference information. So say they like it on Tuesdays and they prefer it in the morning, you can indicate that. Once you've done that, just click save, which will save that information onto the account form for later use. Now we'll get to the real meat of it. What we really want to do here is allow you guys to set up your call cycles. So essentially a call cycle, you will all have your own call cycle. You will have already worked out what you want to do, where you want to go, when you want to do it. What this will allow you to do is to capture that information, and what we do is we capture what are called recurring appointments, and then the recurring appointments generate each of the instances of the appointment that you'll actually go and visit. So it's just like an Outlook recurring appointment. You set up the rules and the schedule, and then it creates all of the individual appointments for you each time you need to go and visit the customer. So here we're going to create a new recurring appointment and set it up to recur every couple of weeks, probably between a certain date range. So I'll just jump in and show you where you can do that. So if you go to the activities menu on the left hand side, and by default it'll default to my activities, which shows me there's already a bunch of appointments that I've got set up. You can see that it's repeating I've only got 5 appointments set up. It's repeating every 5. You can see Avonhead, Richmond City, Rosalind, Maryvale, then Avonhead, Richmond City, Rosalind, Maryvale. And so I've only set up 5. Now I want to go and set up another one. So I'll go click on my activities, come down to recurring appointments, and choose my recurring appointments. So here you can see those ones that I've created. I've got on Thursday I visit Avonhead, Richmond, the City branch, and then Rosalind, and on Friday I've got Maryvale. So what I want to do is I want to put another recurring appointment in on a Friday. So to do that, you simply just click here and go recurring appointment. Give it some sort of type, choose the customer you want to visit. And now I'm just doing this based on the Fresh Choice customers. So I'm just going to limit this to Fresh and visit one that I haven't done, say Springlands. You will obviously have your own customers and you'll know exactly who you're going to visit at different times. Give it some sort of title so it's easy to understand. I'm going to say Fresh Choice Springlands, and I'm going to visit on Friday, lunch probably. Now what you need to do is indicate the call cycle that this call is going to be a part of, and you will each have one call cycle that you can indicate this, link this to. So I've got one called Al Coates call cycle. If your one is not there, just create it. This is an optional extra to help you figure out whether it's the first or the second week of the call, but we'll just leave that blank for now. And then what you need to do to set up the actual recurrence is to click up here under recurrence, choose the time. Say for instance I want to meet from 12 till 2, it's going to be a long call, and I'm going to do it on Friday, and I want it to happen every 2 weeks. So this is basically saying every 2 weeks on a Friday from 12 till 2 I'll be at this customer, and I'm going to put a no end date, so effectively this will just keep going on forever. Click OK, and it puts the details in here, and then once you're ready, you can just click save and close. So close that, go back to the main screen here, and you'll now see that FC Springlands is created in your list. Now if we go back to our activities list and go and view, if we go and visit my appointments, we'll now see that FC Springland is now part of that. So you can see that on Friday the 8th at 12 till 2, I'll visit that, and the next time it'll do will be 2 weeks after that, which will be the 22nd, and then the 3rd of March, the 22nd of March, etc, etc, etc. So effectively what you'll end up having is a appointment for each, one record for each of your appointments during your generally 2 week call cycle. So you can see I've only got 6 here, but in real life you may have, you might do 10 calls a day, and over the course of 2 weeks you might do, there would be 100 calls. And so they'll all be up here. So if you wanted to quickly see what the call cycles like for the next 7 days, just change the due date when you're in this view to show the next 7 days. So this is showing today, blah blah blah, down through to the next days. And that's actually the next next UAT option, test script here that we need to complete is to view your call cycle. Best way to do that is go into your My Activities list and just show the next 7 days or the next 30 days or whatever it is that you want to see next 7 days. That's great. I'll just skip this one for now, but effectively what you should see when you go to your accounts list is a list of the accounts that you own, and if you're a regional sales manager you should see a list of all the accounts that your staff own. And by own I mean are responsible for. So to see again your accounts, go to the accounts list, make sure that the accounts view is selected as My Active Accounts, and you should see just the ones you own. So in this scenario I've assigned all of the Fresh Choice accounts to myself, but you may be responsible for Progressives or Hack and Save or whatever it is. If you're the regional sales manager and you want to see what accounts you and your team own, change this view to the manager's accounts view. Now it's not going to show anything for me, but for the managers, if the users are set up correctly, it will show all of the territory manager's accounts. Now, also what you may want to do is you may want to create a admin call. So, for instance, say you've got your 2 week call cycle, and every Friday afternoon you just do admin instead of visiting customers. What you can do is you can create a new recurring appointment which shows you on Friday afternoon doing admin. So to do that, you do basically the same thing you do. To create that, we're just going to call this our Friday admin call. And instead of setting a customer, you just don't set a customer. You still need to set the call cycle. Still need to set the recurrence. So I'm going to do this from 3 PM for 2 hours, actually an hour and a half. You knock off for drinks early. On a Friday, I'm going to do an hour and a half of admin. It's going to be on Friday every week actually. I think I'll do it. And it's going to be no end date start from today. Click OK. Save that one. And now that admin call. And so now you can see it here in your list of appointments the next 7 days. You've got your regular customer visits, and then on Friday you've got from 3 till 4:30 an admin call which doesn't have a customer associated with it. But it's still important that you know that on Friday afternoon I'm meant to be doing admin from here to there, clean up my bits and pieces. So that's that story there. Now I'm going to just skip through completing a call at the moment because we need to create some objectives first, which makes sense. So I'll just skip that story and I'll come back to that one. I'll just put one here so I come back. We'll just jump in and quickly deal with merchandisers. CRM, there's some pretty rudimentary way that you can indicate which merchandisers are working at what store. For instance, if I open up Fresh Choice Maryvale, I can see a list of which merchandisers should be working at the store and for how long, down here on the left under merchandiser hours. So you can see there should be a merchandiser, Stephen Fleming, and he's allocated 5 hours to this store. Now let's just imagine that that record wasn't there and I wanted to create a new one. I click here on add new merchandisers hours. Choose the merchandiser from the list. Now there may be here. If there was none here, you can create a new one. To do that, you simply click new, and I'm going to put in Joe Blogs here as the new merchandiser name. Save it, then click it and click OK, and he's meant to be in the store for 8 hours a week. Save. So you can see now there's two merchandisers meant to be in the store. Pretty basic story, and it's a rudimentary way of managing merchandiser hours. I'll come back to that one as well because it's part of the call. To view the previous sales for an account, you can do that by opening an account and clicking down here under orders. Now for this account there isn't any. I will be creating some demo data for you. Now if I wanted to create an unscheduled call, so as in say at the end of the day I came back from out on the road and I didn't have the tablet application, which you will have, I can actually go in and create an unscheduled call against a customer. It wasn't part of my regular call schedule and it won't affect my ongoing call schedule. To do that, you simply highlight the customer. Say I visited Fresh Choice Queenstown, click the add button, choose appointment, give it I'm just going to call this unscheduled call. This would be the scenario that someone calls you up or you just drop in on a customer and you didn't actually, it wasn't part of your scheduled cycle and you don't want it to adjust your cycle. Just make sure you set the call cycle so that when we do the reporting, this call can be included in your reporting. And then you click save, and, which would then create that appointment. You would then complete it as you would a normal one, which I'll show you in a second. Now here's a question. When an appointment is closed, it updates the last seen on by and last seen on date fields on the account. So the scenario is I want to quickly see who visited the store last and when from say a regional sales manager perspective. If someone completes a call against an account, it will update these two fields down here. You see there's last seen on and then last seen by. At the moment there's nothing there. So what I'll do is I'll just close this activity here. Actually no, I won't go to the other, that one I just created, which was Queenstown. And I'll just complete this activity. Mark as completed. That will just close, and what the workflow will run and it will update these details so that in the future people can see what has happened. Just wait for a second to see if that has updated. Just check to see that the appointment, the workflow is run. This can take a little while sometimes. There we go, it should be done now. So if I just refresh this, you can see here it was updated 11:35 and 4th of 2nd by myself. And so every time an appointment is closed against an account, you'll quickly see who visited and when. Alright, I'll get into call cycle adherence very soon. I'll just do some objectives first. Okay, so this one is here is mostly for the regional sales managers to set up objectives, but you as a territory manager will be completing objectives. So say for instance I wanted to set up a task, essentially an objective for whoever was looking after the Fresh Choice supermarkets to actually do a specific action. So what I can do is I can come down here to objective templates and I can click create new objective template. Say I want the person who's looking after each store to discuss purchasing plans for 2013. You need to talk to the buyers and understand if they are planning on purchasing more or less stock, etc., whatever it is. And then you can set some details. So first one is, what date range do you want this to apply for? Well, I want it to apply from today for probably the next couple of months, right? I want them to do it by the end of February. You can put on a due date if you want. And then you need to indicate a couple of things. Okay, firstly, what sort of repetition? Do you want this to show on every appointment, every time they visit a customer, you want this objective to show? Or do you just want it to show on the first one? or do you want to show it each time until it's completed successfully? This is probably a one-off task, so I want this to show against an appointment until they say yes, I've done it. So I'm going to choose show until completed successfully. They're going to have to say yes or no to this, it's mandatory, and then just ignore this third one. And then what I want to decide here is, okay, do I want to do this for a specific account? If I would choose account and choose a specific account. So if I only wanted to do for Fresh Choice Maryvale, for instance, I could choose that. I could choose a custom list of people, but what I really want to do is to choose the head office of Fresh Choice, and this to apply to all of the Fresh Choice stores which are linked to the head office. So I'll choose the parent account lookup, choose the Fresh Choice head office, and I'm going to set this to active and click save. What will happen is it will save that, and in the background it's going to go ahead and create a marketing list for that and create all the objectives and put them against each of the open appointments against that account. So I'll just wait for this to finish. Alright, cool, it's generated a marketing list and created the parent account. And if this has worked correctly, you should see a couple of things here. There we go. Alright, so basically you can see for each of the stores underneath the head office, it's created a objective template, which means that if I view a appointment against any one of those stores that is within the date range here, then it should have an objective against it. So let's go and have a look. So let's go up to my list of activities. And you can see here I needed to find one that was within that range. So here's one, for instance, Friday lunch. So here I'm going to open this, and hopefully this will show us our objective. So here's your normal appointment with the customer and the call cycle. So we know it's the right one. And you'll see here in the call objectives area, you'll see what the call objective we created earlier, discuss purchasing for 2013. So essentially at this point, what you would normally be doing would be completing this appointment on the tablet. And before you can close the appointment on the tablet application, you would have to answer the call objective. We've built the same functionality into CRM, so if you end up having to use CRM to complete your calls, then you can manage and update your objectives here. So essentially you're in your appointment, you've got various things to do. You can write a call note about what happened, met with buyer, discussed many things, whatever it is you want to put on there. One of the other stories we've got here in our list, so I'd like to be able to create a to-do somewhere down here. Create a task for the next call, so that you have a reminder of something you need to do for the next time you visit this customer. If you do that, just put something in here. Maybe it's next time bring in latest product brochure or something like that. And you save the call, complete call, that will get created as a to-do against the next appointment. But regardless, what you would do is you do your whole call, and then you would complete your call and mark it as complete, which will effectively close the appointment. So I'll try and do that. However, what's going to happen is that it will freak out and it will tell me you can't close this until you completed your objectives. So click OK, and I see I need to complete this objective. So there's a couple of ways to do it. One is you can just quickly complete it by highlighting it, coming up here to complete objectives and choosing success, partial success or unsuccessful. If you choose any one of these three statuses, then the objective is considered finished, even if it wasn't successful. So you can just do that quickly, or alternatively you can open it up, change the status yourself and put some details in. So if you wanted to put some notes about what you actually did, you could write them in here. Discuss with buyer is increasing volumes for 2013. What it is, if you wanted to put detail in. And I'm going to put that as a successful outcome. Save and close. And then when I try and complete this appointment here by clicking on Mark Complete, it will allow me to close the appointment out. Alright, and you can see that that Fresh Choice is no longer available as a
call it's finished, and it will go in the history against that customer. So that's creating task. So yeah, that's objectives. So you can create objectives for the parent account and have it cascade to all the child accounts. If I was to have a look at any of these other ones here, within the right date range, if I go to the next 30 days, I choose say Avonhead, this appointment should also have that core objective. You see it's cascaded to all of the Fresh Choice appointments against all the Fresh Choice customers under the Fresh Choice head office. So we've been able to do that, we've been able to cascade objectives down. Now there's a couple of things you can do. First is that you can run a report to see objective completion overall. And the second thing you can do is you can actually run a report to see call cycle adherence against a customer. They kind of go together, and the one I'll show you right now will be the call cycle adherence report. So just imagine you'd set up all of your call cycles and you'd been completing your calls for the last couple of weeks, and you want to sit down with the regional sales manager and just go through how you've gone the last couple of weeks, and check when you actually visited the customers, how your objective completion was, that sort of thing. So you can do that by running a report. The easiest way to do it is to go to your call cycle, highlight your call cycle, click run report, and choose the call cycle adherence report. Use the selected records, and that report will run. Now just before that's running, I'm just going to check the filter. If you click edit filter on the report, you can actually start to decide what date range you want to put in. So for instance, in this instance, it's saying I'm going to use the Alcoats call cycle as the basis for choosing what appointments to show on the report. But I could also put a start and end date. So if I wanted to just do it for the month of November, or for the 6 months from January, whatever I want to do, I can put that detail in here just by choosing a date, selecting a different column. In this instance, I'm just going to choose them all because there's not a whole lot of data in the system. So I'll click run report. And while that's just warming up, here we go. So this report's run now. And you can see a couple of things really quickly. First off, you can see some quick summary about how many you've actually completed late, how many you've completed on time. This will consider all of those that have been completed before today, as in before the day I'm running the report. So let's look at some detail. So first off, you can see that the user, you can see the call cycle that we're running this report against. You can see the date that things were scheduled to be completed, the subject of the appointment, the customer that was going to get visited, and the status, that it was scheduled to be completed, and the time it was meant to be completed. So first off, all of these ones here are all overdue. So they're all before today, they haven't been completed, and therefore they're highlighted as overdue. However, then we've got some other things going on. So if we just look here on Monday the 4th of February, what we've got here is an unscheduled call for Fresh Choice to Queenstown. If you remember in the earlier demo, I think we created an appointment against this customer for Fresh Choice to Queenstown. It was an unscheduled call, so it wasn't part of the normal call cycle, but it was completed. It shows you on what date it was actually completed, the 4th of February, and what the completed time was. Then we've got the one we did today, Fresh Choice Springlands Friday lunch. That was scheduled for the 8th of February, which is not yet, it's currently the 5th of February, so it was brought forward, that's why that's highlighted in yellow, but it was completed on the 5th of February. It was scheduled from 12 to 2, we completed at 7:55. And so you can see if you had a regular schedule of appointments, you could see which ones are overdue, which ones were completed as scheduled, and which ones were brought forward or delayed. Now, one of the other cool things about this report is that for each of these appointments, if there's an objective within it, you can drill into this appointment record and see the status of the objectives that were completed. So there's a little plus button here. So let's have a look at this Fresh Choice Springlands Friday lunch and see what happened. So we just drill into that. And you can see here that there was an objective, discuss purchasing for 2013, and it was completed as successful. So if it was completed as not successful or wasn't completed, then you would see it here if we have a look at some other ones in the future. So that's the course cycle adherence report, which can be run as required. There's another report which I'll show you, which is the objective completion report. Just while I'm here, a couple of these other stories here. For instance, if you want to do a product out of stock notice, you can essentially, what you can do is create a objective, and I'll just show you here. So you could create an objective, and when you create the objective, you can just put the objective response type to information not required. So for instance, you could put here out of stock notice, daily choice options, whatever it is, XYZ, and then use a marking list which includes all affected customers. And effectively this will show up on the appointments as out of stock notice, but doesn't require them to answer anything, so I just won't save that. So one of the other reports you can run is the objective completion report. So let's just double click and run that one. And I'll just choose everyone for now. This just gives a quick summary view by user and by account. So again, the data in here doesn't really make a whole lot of sense at the moment, but as you get more data in there, it will hopefully help you see a bit better. So you can see for this user, overall they had 10 they had to complete, 1 was completed successfully, 9 have not been completed so far. If you drill down, you can see it was for this customer and this was the objective. Fresh Choice Springlands, they've completed that successfully at a certain time. So that can drill in, and as you get more data and more customers and more split out, you can see this sort of stuff, a bit more detail. Just another way to look at the objective completion, if we open the objective template itself, so you're looking at this from the head office perspective, and under account objective templates you can see the perspective of each of the different customers. So you can see we've got all the different customers under Fresh Choice head office, and we can actually see that this one here, Fresh Choice Springlands, has got a status of complete. Now, because the objective template was set to show until completed successfully, now that we completed that objective successfully against that customer, the next appointment in that series, even if it is within the date range of the objective here, won't actually show that objective because it was completed successfully. And the status of the customer has been updated to complete, so you can see the details, it's now complete. And under objectives you can see this one here, it was completed successfully, and the previous appointment, the next appointment in the series has been deactivated, so it won't show against that new appointment. So there's several different ways you can actually look at how objectives are completed. If you don't want to look at a report, you can drill down onto the detail of each one. Again, here you can create a new objective to get people to make sure a new stock is on shelf for a new product within 8 weeks of product launch.
Also, you can manage your trade spend within CRM. To do that, say you agree a special deal with a customer to do an end aisle display or something like that. Let's imagine you do one again at Queenstown. Open the Queenstown account up, have a look at trade spend. You can see currently there's no deals that we've set up with them, so I'm going to set up a new one for end display for this week for a certain product. So we're going to say end display, and we're going to choose the product, and it was Crown Poke Burgers. You can set the price, you know, this is going to cost us $2,000, and it's going to run from today for 2 weeks, and it's going to be end of aisle C or whatever it is. Okay, you can save that. Once it's actually finished, say in 2 weeks time, you can actually come back and manage that. So you can open the trade spend record up again, and you can put in, they'll give you the invoice, you can put the invoice number in there, and you can say they sold 1,200 units and the total cost to us was they gave us a discount of 2,500, whatever it was. Put notes. This was a great deal. Save that, and that data will be kept inside the system so you can report on it later and see your actual trade spend cost. You can actually see your trade spend cost by creating a goal for it, and this is the inbuilt targets module inside CRM. So I'll create a goal for this so I can see how much trade spend I'm actually going to make. So click new goal and say this is my trade spend for 2013, and I'm going to put myself as the goal owner. Use the goal metric, which in this case is called trade spend, and I want to do it for the whole year, so I'm going to choose a custom period of 1st of the 1st, and I'm just going to have one goal for the whole year, but you could do it by month or whatever you want to do. I do the whole month, and my goal for the year is $200,000. Right, now this detail should all be the same, so we can just leave that. Cool, save. Once you've saved it, it will be available here under your My Active Goals list. And I'm just going to force the recalculation. That happens each night, but you can see what's happening here. So if I open it up, I can see that I had a target of 200,000. And here on the right I can see the actual trade spend. So you can see there's actually 3 things that which fall into this category. So there's that new one I created, $2,000, but I also have 2 others that have already been happened. So as you build up your trade spend and you actually start spending it for a customer, the details can get saved and they will roll up into this goal, and I can see that I'm $9,000 out of my 200,000 for the year. Now one of the handy things about this is that you can then open the charts pane on the right hand side and you can see where you should be. So for instance here it's showing my whole year target. This is where I need to be for the year, 200,000. As of today, the 4th of February, I should be here, and currently I'm not quite there. So I can go down to percentage achieved and get a little bit more detail. So I should be at 9%, I'm currently about 5%, which is good, so it means I'm under budget for my trade spend.